train wreck. You can blame it on the tech or the disrespect. Before you play, better button check. Button check.
What is up, Butt Check family? Welcome back to yet again a beautiful morning. It is the weekend. We done made it. Thank you guys for tuning in and checking these buttons. As always, chapters down below if you want to skip around to a certain subject, and of course that sub button right there. Please go ahead and take a second, help the channel grow on the race to 50K. Thank you guys for so much. But without further ado, we definitely, I know I say that all the time, but we definitely, trust me, got a hot topic. Ladies and gents, let's go. All right, now in for them CEO battling the state of Florida buttons that need to be checked. So y'all know CEO, right? Possibly the second biggest major right below EVA, right? Profile on the screen. And it looks like it's actually happening, obviously, this year, right? But it's coming up June 23rd, right after the release of Street Fighter 6. So Street Fighter 6 drops June 2nd. I think, let me know if I'm mistaken, but isn't this the first major, like after the release of Street Fighter? Could be wrong, but I think it is. I don't know, let me know down below. Anyway, CEO has been beloved for a long time, but for those that might not know the history, they've been battling their location for quite some time, ever since I can remember. Hell, the beginning of Button Check, because I remember some of the earlier episodes of Button Check back in like what, 2018? We were talking about how CEO was having to overcome some of the things that were happening in that city.
And Sonic Fox actually posted again saying, yeah, mad crackheads and Confederate flags plus casual racism here was not good. Not a good look. I enjoy the beach and the venue, but I like my safety secured more than all of that. And then on top of that, Jebailey responds and he says, I'll bring it up in my venue meeting later today to discuss. I'm sorry.
And unfortunately, it looks like things haven't changed much. Now, there's always two sides of the fence, so we'll get to that, you know, the good and the bad in a second here. But for now, let's go ahead and dive into this. So CEO released this statement just a few days ago, right? Saying the majority of CEO attendees and staff live in Florida. We recognize our state is problematic for our community, but it's not realistic for us to leave. And we won't give up on the community living here. We're doing our best to create the safest and most fun events that we can. We will continue to communicate directly about concerns with the venues, vendors, and community members we work with and try hard to craft enjoyable attendee experiences. So that's what's up, right? But some of you might be a little confused as to why they felt the need to go that far. Well, apparently the state of Florida is in the middle of passing new laws or bills and whatnot that's regulating like trans rights and other things as well. So certain people in the community are very offended, right? And they're feeling even threatened, like as far as like their security and whatnot, their safety, right? So somebody by the name of Erin Reed posts a lot of information, their profile on the screen, link down below, trying to, you know, basically catch up to date with exactly what's going on. Because the first thing that we saw, right, where apparently they're passing some type of bill where they're going to the death penalty for sex offenders of children, right? That was the main thing going around. And a lot of the FGC was confused because they were like, why are we pressed against that, right? A lot of people from there started making Smash community jokes, right? Because at CEO, I don't think it's technically known as a Smash tournament, even though there's Smash tournaments inside CEO, but it's not technically like a huge Smash tournament per se. But anyway, with that being said, there's a lot of Smash memes now and jokes where people are like, oh, that's why you're pressed, because the Smash community is filled with pedophiles and now your livelihood is threatened and they're gonna get in your ass if you happen to go to Florida. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion originally came from, right? Because people are like, how the hell are you mad at this? But apparently there is other bills as well when it comes to the trans community, as opposed like, and I'll put, of course, the stuff on the screen as we talk about it, but there's another bill I guess they're trying to pass to where it affects trans, like the restroom situation, right? Where you have to use the restroom of, I guess, the sex that you were born with. And if you don't, and somebody points you out, you could get some kind of penalty. I think you can get arrested or some shit, right? Something like that. Or they could ask you to leave. I don't know, it's something, right? On top of that, there was another bill passed where they were saying like, if you're trans, you can't transition if you're under the age of 18, something like that, right? You can't receive any kind of drugs or anything like that to help you transition under the age of 18. And there, basically it is. Now, there's a lot more wording and whatnot, and of course, I'll put links down below so you can get it. But a lot of the trans community, right, is basically scared, right? Because they're seeing these laws and they're like, okay, for one, we've kind of heard negative things with, you know, race and whatnot in that particular area. And now we have these new laws. So they're like, yo, what if I happen to go and I'm part of the LGBTQ community, you know, and I get like, you know, I get threatened or something like that. So from there, you got members of the community voicing their opinions. But I think the problem is, you know, from what's going on right now on social media, some people are like, yo, we understand if you're mad, but stop focusing on the TOs of CEO, because they're getting a lot of heat for this, because they're like, yo, you should move your tournament, or you should cancel it, or you just shouldn't, you know, just shouldn't mess with Florida at all. It's threatening our safety. We don't feel right. So they're kind of aiming their frustrations and anger towards the organizers of CEO. And that's where you have that other side of the fence saying, you guys need to target it in the right direction, because they have nothing to do with it. They just said there's good people in the state of Florida, in the FGC, in that particular area with that community. Their plan is to build it up. They're trying to keep the venue and whatnot as safe as possible. So what more can they do at this point? They're not the ones changing the rules or changing the laws in the actual state. And then you got that other side, right? Like looking at these laws in total saying, well, what's the big deal? You know what I'm saying? Like we're penalizing pedos, which we should, amen to that, right? And then they're like, you're having to use certain restrooms of your birth sex. So they're saying if you're flying in just for that weekend of CEO, what's the big deal, right? And other people I noticed, I saw this one and I don't know if this exact date matches up, but they're saying that it's not gonna take effect until after the date of CEO. Then I noticed Alex Jabailey, right? Mr. CEO himself posted this saying, taking a long break from my personal Twitter because the amount of anger and hate I get for things out of my control are damaging my mental health more and more every day and affecting my work that brings many people opportunities and joy. If you need me for anything event related, you know how to find me. And the FGC responds, a lot of him wishing him, you know, well, saying take care, take all the time you need. Sometimes you need to do that, basically, and or just appreciating the work that he's doing. And there it is, and that's where it lies right now. And I'll go on record and say this, like, since we have been covering this since basically the beginning of Button Check, I met Alex one time, I want to say at Evo. I don't think I've talked to him anywhere else. He was a nice guy and whatnot. But seeing the growth of CEO, how it just kind of started and blew up to something mega where they could like rival almost Evo numbers at times, it seemed anyway. You know what I'm saying? It was huge. It has become a huge thing. People love CEO. I've always heard good things when it comes to the venue. People that travel in always say CEO was amazing. They love the experience. You know, sometimes they have the wrestling and whatnot. We have the godlike entrances that players do from time to time. I've always heard amazing things about CEO itself. It was just recent, well, last several years and whatnot, that certain FGC members and pros were very vocal saying they experienced racism when they left the venue. Then you have other stories of people say, well, I live here and I don't really see it as much as you guys and whatnot. So like I said, there's always two sides of the fence. But if you got that, and now you got these new bills, whatever laws that they're trying to pass, you know, especially focusing on the trans community, I think it's obvious that you were going to hear something, right? Especially the trans movement within the FGC itself. So now, there it is. You have one side very concerned, asking CEO to either cancel or move their venue. I saw somebody even talking about we should boycott it or something like that. And the other side, we think you guys are reaching, you know what I'm saying, being a little overreactive because they're doing the best they can, and it's everybody else, it's not the actual venue. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, CEO has always been like in a contract, and that's why they just can't up and leave, because like they stated earlier, a lot of them live there, so it's not like they can just sell their houses, quit their jobs, and just leave, you know what I'm saying? Because they're locked in for a certain amount of years in that particular contract. So there it is, man. Very hot. CEO's right around the corner. It's going to be featuring Street Fighter 6, among other games. How y'all feeling? Let me know. There it is one more time. Thank you for the amazing love. We will see you soon. Please like, subscribe, helping the channel grow, all that good stuff. As always, I don't know what it is, but I know it's about to get better. Love y'all forever. Have a good weekend, man. Have a damn good weekend. I'm feeling good this weekend as well. See you soon. Peace.
Blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.
Drove by, another was talking about the KKK rocking Confederate flags, people staring at us up and down. Okay, now
what are we doing here?
I think
I know, racism
and
is
it's full
here.
form. You know what I'm saying?
Racism popped out and said, hey, what's
The
going on,
fucking
guys?
Super Saiyan
Yeah.
level 3 of racism.
He
you know
just
what I'm
walked
saying?
in the door and he wants to be on button check.